Vincent Van Gogh, people told him, you can't be a great painter, you only have one ear. You know what he said? I can't hear you.
Listening to Sippin' Sports, a Phillies sports talk morning show with Chris, KJ, and Dalt. Proudly powered by 302 Birds. Let's take it to the show.
The Durantula era is here. I just want to show you guys, before we start the show, what the vibes were like at the ballpark last night.
Let's go! Close this out! Close it out!
Jhoan Duran debuts as a Philadelphia Philly. Let's see what he's got.
Not only does the MLB take a page out of the WWE's book, which was insane. I've never seen anything like that in Philly sports. Any entrance like that. Especially and Hugh Douglas pointed this out on WIP, you got to be a special player for them to turn out the lights for you. So I knew when this guy was coming out, something insane was going to happen. And 4 pitches, the game's over just like that. And your boy, who doesn't like to sit in traffic, is sitting in traffic. That game was very well worth it. And I just want to start with KJ because how rare is it for me to stay a whole game?
It's very rare. I'm shocked you weren't sneezing. I'm shocked you weren't coughing. I'm shocked your glasses weren't foggy. You weren't rubbing them with a cloth or something. It was very rare, Broad. I'll tell you this. Knowing Dalton for a long time, the guy does not like traffic. He gets a lot of anxiety with it. And I don't blame him, but he just doesn't like it one bit. But I convinced him to stay. And I told him this is going to be a magical moment. If we can have a chance to come back and win this game. And then we did. I mean, definitely the bats, they woke up. There were some great hits by Castellanos. I think, obviously, I think Harper had a couple hits as well. Just some great RBIs that really set up some great scores to honestly, tie the game up. I mean, that was key. That was key for them to do that. And then obviously we take the lead in, I believe it was around the 9th inning, maybe 8th inning. And then they bring out Duran just to close it out. And that was just a cherry on top. And the place just went electric. And I'll tell you this, I've been to a Phillies Mets game in Citi Field in New York before. And I'll tell you this, that place goes insane for Edwin Diaz and everyone gets all their trumpets out and everything like that. And I tell them to shove that trumpet up somewhere else. But just joking. But that was electric as well. But this was a different level. This was definitely a different level. And I mean, just the excitement, it did feel like something from a wrestling match. It did feel like something like that. You see the freaking scoreboard with a Durantula, as they're calling him now, kind of like Kevin Durant. But it was just insane. And Fratty's face, we were with James Frationi, shout out to Fratty. And just the smile on his face was just, it was priceless. And Also, Joey Havens was excited as well. Even Mooner was excited. So that was awesome. It was an amazing time, and it definitely lived up to the hype. So he's definitely gonna have a good career here. I cannot wait to see what else he's got.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, look, this was quite literally the best game I've seen from the Phillies the entire year. The crowd, the stadium, the come from behind win, just like the fact that they were behind and then they came from behind, won the game. They're close. Now one of the best closers in the game come in. Now's a Philly closes it out. So I haven't had a lot of happy, positive moments this year as a Phillies fan. And last night was one of the biggest, best, happiest moment of the entire year. The day, so Thursday night, I'm downstairs. I'm right here. I'm on my show talking smack. I said we're going to be first round exits. This team sucks. I'm all pissed off. I can't stand this baseball team. And last night gave me a little bit of hope. And I think in the biggest thing about it is I think people are underestimating, not Philly fans, but I think people around the major league are underestimating what Jhoan Duran brings to this baseball team and that closer role. The Phillies haven't had a legitimate closer since like a real closer since Papelbon. And that was like 100 years ago, it feels like. Even last year, Hoffman wasn't a set closer. Estevez wasn't a set closer. This year, they bounced between Romano, Kirkring, Strom. They lose Alvarado. He was supposed to be the closer. This team hasn't seen a legitimate closer in a long time. Now you bring one of the best, like not just a regular closer, one of the best closers in baseball into the game, onto your team. That is, I mean, that's legit. That stabilizes the back end of your bullpen. I still don't believe this bullpen's great, but now you have a great closer in the pen that's able to shut things down. Four pitches to get 3 outs and shut one of the best teams in Major League Baseball down. So I just think not Philly fans, of course, but people around the Major League Baseball are underestimating what Jhoan Duran brings to this baseball team. And last night was electric. It was special. And before we started the show, I said this to you. I don't fully believe it, but last night could be a season-altering win. And maybe Jhoan Duran is like the guy that sparks this Phillies team to be playing the caliber that we know that they can play at.
Yeah, I think that also brings a good point. Before Dalton talks, I wanted to say this. So Jimmy Rollins had his he was inducted into the Phillies Wall of Fame. And one thing I took away from his speech was saying that before they were champions in '08, he remembers the whole team being tired of hearing about the 1980 team, being tired about hearing, okay, when's the next World Series going to happen? And then when they did it, that was where it really meant a lot. So he was like, I want you guys to feel like, okay, I'm getting tired of hearing about a World Series championship coming here, like right now. Like, I'm getting tired of it. Let's get it done. So I think also hearing a guy like Jimmy Rollins, who's really respected in the Phillies organization, definitely a legend for sure. Hearing him say that and kind of showing, like, I just saw like a lot of the players like nodding their heads. Like, I don't know, maybe Brendan Marsh is just nodding his head because maybe he's just doing that, just like be like, okay, mom, like how a kid saying that like that to a mom, they get reprimanded or whatever. But I don't know. I just think like some of the players, like Bryce, definitely was like taking that to like his core and was like, you know what, I'm doing this. Like, so let's see if this really does give them that fire in their stomach. It seems like also Harrison Bader and Jhoan Duran are already like they have on their mind, like, okay, like this team brought us both here to help them win a World Series, and let's go do that. Obviously, we don't have the confidence in Bader yet, but maybe he can change that. And I mean, what I heard from the interview, though, I mean, like this team already, it's just like what Ryan just said, what Broad Street Sports just said, that this team is turning some kind of switch, it seems like, and they might be on something. They might be on like the break of something. I really do think there is something at the end of the tunnel. There's some light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, yeah, I just think it's like at the point where it's like, how much longer until we see this Phillies team play to their potential? And I've been saying that all year. It's like we haven't. This is a great look. No matter what I say, and what I say is 100% factual, because don't get me wrong, it's facts. But this is a great baseball team. Let's not derail from the fact this is a great baseball team. But 90% of the time, this baseball team doesn't play up to their full potential. Bringing in one of the, arguably the best closer in Major League Baseball onto your team. I know and I'm not a big fan of Bader coming in. I think it's just another Austin Hayes, another Kepler, just another safety pick. It is what it is. But if he can somehow learn if Bader can come onto this team and be valuable, and valuable in a way where it's not all home runs. He can get singles, he can get doubles, and he can use his speed to steal, to score, to get home from second, to score from first. You know what I mean? First to third. He can, we have too many guys on this baseball team to hit home runs all the time and want to hit home runs. You bring a guy like Bader in who could play small ball for you the way that Stott is not. And you can and he can use his legs to his advantage. So this is a great baseball team that has bullpen that has a bullpen that's lacking. And you bring Duran in, it stabilized the back half of the bullpen because now you have a guy that can close teams out. You got to put him in the eighth. He can pitch the eighth and then the ninth. I think he's very versatile in that way. But this is a thing where this may turn the Phillies from being like a good / great baseball team to actually playing like a great baseball team, and give some Phillies fans hope, because right now this trade deadline, just before I wrap this up, this trade deadline and the way the Phillies have played in the first half and go and play an under 500 baseball in the month of July, that turns the fans off in a way. Because now Eagles are in training camp, and it's like, well, just wake me up when it's October, and I just can't wait for Eagles season. Well, so it's what they've been doing is turning fans off. Now you have Duran, and they see the light show, and they see the spiders, they see the music, they see a packed house that literally sounded like Red October. It kind of turns fans back on, but they just need this. Like I said, this could actually be like what wakes the team up to play into their potential, and that would be wonderful.
I think an acquisition like this, like KJ said earlier, KJ had a really good point. You can tell by their body language last night, as far as Bader and Duran, that they knew they were here on a mission, and that's to bring a trophy. Like, they understand they have a job. Now, don't get me wrong. When Bader came out, and I said this last night when I called into WIP, it was like a nightclub, man. Like, I honestly, and I don't want to disrespect Duran's intro, but I think Bader's intro was right up there with it too, because Philadelphia is such a city where we want to give our players a warm welcome, especially when you come out here. We want to make sure we put good energy into you, because you get in what you put out. So when Bader first came out, that place, especially to the Drake song Nokia, it's like, is it Stacy? And it's like singing that song. The whole place was vibrating. Like, everybody was jumping up and down, excited, just happy that we found a new outfielder. And I don't think Bader's a top tier outfielder, but I do think he's probably one of the better outfielders that we have. I think he should probably start every day with where his talent's at. And he performed last night, like half the battle. And WIP said this last night that, like, well, that atmosphere, like, basically it was kind of, playing into him getting in a hit. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. That's not going to be there every day. But at the same time, it's a two-way relationship, right? Like, he had to show up in that moment, and he did. So I'm very excited with the acquisitions that this team made as far as the deadline goes. We're going to get more to the Phillies deadline here in a second, but let's kick it to Broad first, because one of the things that the Phillies didn't do at the deadline is get rid of Kepler. How are you feeling about this? Do you think this guy will be a Philly for a little bit longer, the rest of the season? What's your thoughts?
I have so much mixed emotions, and everybody knows how I feel about Max Kepler. He's the worst Phillies player I've ever seen in my lifetime. I could go out there and play better than him. I mean, it's like ridiculous. I'd rather have Cody Ashley out there or Aaron Altair. I mean, it's like a joke watching this guy play baseball. So we signed Bader, right? So we signed Bader. And Bader doesn't play. He doesn't start last night. Why not? So I don't get that. If I'm Rob Thompson and I'm Dombrowski, here's my thing. Marsh is a much better baseball player than Max Kepler. I know I have my beef with Marsh. I know he's not all that great, but he has been heating up. He's been playing a little more consistent baseball. He's learning that he doesn't have to hit home runs, even though he could potentially hit home runs. He's learning that he doesn't always have to hit home runs to be productive. He's learning that he just has to get hits now, get singles, get on base. So if I'm them, it's Marsh in left field, it's Bader in center field, and obviously Kepler in right field. But when you're listening to Dombrowski in his press conference after 6 p.m. on Thursday, after the deadline ended, he's like, yeah, well, Max Kepler's still on this roster. He'll be on this team for a little bit longer, whatever the case, still on this roster for right now. Well, why? Why? What does he bring to the table that other players don't? And Otto Kemp is more productive in the outfield than Max Kepler. Sosa, when he would play left field, is more productive than Kepler out there. Bader, who hasn't even been here for more than a day, is more productive than Kepler in the outfield. Johan Rojas, and I hate Rojas, he's more productive than Kepler. So I just don't get it. I don't understand. I still believe that there's hope that they're going to move him. I just think that they're waiting a little bit longer to see what they can do with Crawford. I do believe that there's a good chance they bring Crawford up this year. And if they do bring Crawford up, that moves Kepler out of the, back down or DFA'd or whatever the case is. I don't know if he has options. He probably doesn't. So he'll be released, which would be great. Just freaking eat the money at this point. I mean, it's minor money at this point. So you could see Crawford get moved up, but I think it's a disaster and an idiotic move to continue to use Max Kepler, A, to even have him on the roster, but B, it's really a stupid move to have him start baseball games for you when he brings absolutely none to the table. But like I said, he could be DFA'd very shortly. I just think that they're waiting to see what they do, what they can do with Crawford if he's ready to be called up. Because I don't know if you guys saw the interview. Dombrowski said, yeah, Kepler's on the roster as of right now, a little bit longer, whatever the case is. He said, at least for right now, he's on the roster. So I think they're planning a little something. I just think they're waiting to see what Crawford can do, how they could use Bader, how they can use, if they want to continue to use Kepler, but how they could use Kepler off the bench. Because remember, he's a big crybaby. I want to be the starting left fielder. Well, now it's time Rob Thompson grow some balls and tell him, you're not good enough to be the starting left fielder on a World Series contender baseball team. Stay your ass on the bench or go home and don't play in October. And I think that's where this team's headed.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was surprising that Kepler was not dealt with in the trade deadline. I definitely thought he was one of the main names, but then they really just went for the minor league players. They really went for those guys instead and the prospects. So, I mean, they seem like they still have some weird belief in Max Kepler. I don't know why, but I agree with Broad, though. It's annoying to see that this team still has some weird belief in Kepler. Don't get me wrong, once in a while he'll hit a home run, he'll hit a hit, but honestly, though, it's not consistent. And it definitely is frustrating because it seems like this guy just doesn't know how to perform in the city. And I know there's a lot of pressure. I mean, Jimmy Rollins talked about it yesterday. Playing most of his years, 14 seasons here in Philly. You can't be soft here, and it seems like Kepler already is kind of soft of a player, and he's not really like understanding what he has to do out there. So it definitely was very frustrating to see that he was not traded. They have some weird belief in him. I mean, I did hear that Dombrowski did say that Crawford is ready to be in the lineup. He's ready to be a part of this team from the major league level, but just not yet, though. He's just like, we don't have space for him at the moment. And usually when you hear that, that usually means that you trade that guy. But I mean, obviously, though, they didn't trade him. So it means that definitely Crawford is a future piece. He definitely is a guy they have on the horizon that will be a piece for this team. Maybe if not this season, I think definitely next season. So, but Kepler definitely should have been dealt with. He definitely should have been traded. I honestly could see him getting released. I definitely could see that happen. He just hasn't been that productive though.
Yeah, I think it's with Max Kepler, it's like I definitely see him being moved. I definitely see him being traded. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to. And no matter what we think about Kepler, no matter what we think about Marsh or Rojas or Bohm or Stott, right? This and bringing in Bader, and Bader has to be a big piece, but he's not the solution for this team's problems.
Yeah.
This baseball team, their destiny, their production, their chance at winning a World Series strictly falls on the shoulders and relies on your $300 million players. Turner, Harper, Schwarber, Castellanos, JT. And then if you want to throw Bohm and Stott in there, you can, I guess. This all relies on them. And I think that's the route that Dombrowski said. And Dombrowski flat out came out with it. He was like, look, we added the pieces we thought were necessary. It's up to the guys to fix their problems internally and play better baseball. He flat out said it. So this and I've always said that this team needs to play differently. The main guys you're paying a shit ton of money to. So now you're at the point where your president of baseball operations flat out came out and said it. You heard J-Roll last night say it. This team, the leaders on this team, the leaders, right? $300 million guys, it's time they step up, grab the world by their balls, and play the way that we know that they can play. Because you can't rely on Bader. Bader isn't going to save you. And Duran, I mean, he's just a closer, so he isn't going to bring anything to you offensively. And come postseason time, you don't want to put all the pressure on your starting pitching. Your offense has to do a little bit of something. So, again, this relies strictly and falls on the shoulders of Harper, of Castellanos, of Schwarber, of Turner, the guys that you rely on and have brought in for free agency because they are supposed to win you a championship. That's who this relies on.
That's a really good point. Like, yeah, the weight is on their shoulders now. The work is kind of done here. The groundwork is laid. They brought in Duran, and I think Bader's a good enough piece. And as far as the deadline goes, even though I think we all wanted to see more offensive pieces, I'm happy. I'm overall happy. Like, it could be worse, right? Let's look at the glass like it's half full. We got a top 5 closer who literally closed the game last night in 5 pitches and came out with a freaking WWE entrance, for God's sake. Think we're pretty lucky as far as deadline goes. As far as free agency goes offensively, look, I do wish that the Phillies would have made a trade, or not free agency, sorry, trade deadline. But I do wish that we would have kind of made a move to get more of a well-known name. Apparently, there was a report I saw coming out late last night that the White Sox were begging the Phillies to take Luis Robert, which I don't know if I buy into that, believe that. I saw some fans upset at that in the comments. That tells me, if that was true, that they must have saw something they don't like about this guy, which is probably about how much he plays. They probably want to know that they're getting a sure player that's going to come in, he's going to be healthy, and he's going to contribute. And maybe that's why they looked at the route of Bader, if that story is true. But overall, I was pretty happy with what this team did at the deadline. I know Friday yesterday in our interviews, KJ said that it was tied for first overall of Dombrowski's decisions. What are your thoughts on it, Mac? We'll start with you.
Yeah, I think it definitely, I don't know if it's tied exactly. I can't think of another Dombrowski trade deadline that was actually successful, because all that I can remember is really like the Brandon Marsh deadline, the Austin Hayes one. I mean, Broad could probably, maybe name some other ones, but
Noah Syndergaard he brought in the 1 year. He brought 2022. He
Syndergaard.
brought Syndergaard in.
Yeah.
Um,
But
um,
trying to think
um,
who
um,
else. I'm trying to think who else. But honestly, this
yeah.
has been the most. What I'm trying to say is this has been one of the most highlighted deadlines. With meaning that like even just the Jhoan Duran move honestly made it a good deadline. Even though you got Harrison Bader, um, it kind of makes it a good deadline because you've got a closer, a guy who you can really rely on, a guy that does get the crowd hyped, that does get the team really motivated, and definitely the trust level is there already. It seems like, and he just seems like a very confident guy. I think he's already fitting in. Like he's already saying like I love this place already. Like loving the fans and just the atmosphere. Like he felt the love and the people that say all this stuff about Philadelphia sports and the fans and everything like that. Um, right there's an example of the stereotype that you think that we don't do. People think that we don't cheer on our players, like especially when they get traded to us. We tried to do that for Harrison Bader last night. He did get a hit, I believe, but if things do not go right, obviously, as J. Roll said, like if you're going to be a soft player, you're going to hear it. So I think these players, though, these guys know what they're coming into. I think that Jhoan Duran is excited, and I think he knows what he's been brought here to do. So it's definitely going to be very exciting, and I definitely do think this team does have a better shot now. Um, but yeah, I think they did a pretty good job during the deadline. I think with the Luis Robert thing, it definitely does bring up some. It raises some eyebrows because I mean, thinking that the White Sox were begging. I did see that video, by the way, Dalt. Apparently, not Red Sox, the White Sox were begging for the Phillies to take Luis Robert. It seemed like Dombrowski just wasn't going for it. He wasn't. He wasn't intrigued. He wasn't interested in it at all. And I think it's really because of his injury. His injuries, his past injuries he's had, and just like he's been very unlucky with injuries, and he has not been healthy. And I mean, playing for a team like the White Sox, really just carrying the White Sox organization over there, and he's barely around. So even though he would come here to Philly in a very more successful franchise, um, I think Dombrowski was like, how can that kind of transfer over? Well, I mean, we've had some history with injuries, just not even just in the Phillies, but in Philadelphia sports. So, do we really want to go down that rabbit hole again with getting a guy like Luis Robert? Yes, I wanted him originally, but now I'm looking back at it now and I'm like, maybe they made the right decision because the guy is injured a lot, and that's definitely taking a risk for getting a guy like that.
Yeah, I want to clear it up that the fact that it's not that I don't like Harrison Bader at all, because I like him, but it's just the fact that I didn't like the fact that Dombrowski thought that he was the missing piece to this offense into the outfield.
Agreed.
Like I just look, if we brought Bader in and then you brought in a Quan or Robert, I would have said, shit, man, this is baseball. That's right. But now you bring in Bader, and then that's kind of like where you leave it. It's like, well, we have a guy who's just a little bit better than Kepler, just a little bit better than Marsh, and essentially another Austin Hayes. I mean, it's like I just didn't like it. So, and the Duran is great. I mean, I was in favor of bringing in Robert. No matter what, I think a change of scenery would have done a lot for that guy. No matter what anybody says, I think a change of scenery would have been great for him. He would have enjoyed it. I just think Dombrowski looked at it, and I seen a couple different reports. It was just that, and I know I sent into the 302 Birds group chat as well. It was that I think the main problem of why they were kind of, failing to sign Robert was because the White Sox were begging for Painter. They wanted to move Robert. They were fine with moving him. They just wanted some pieces in return. And one piece the White Sox wouldn't move off of was Painter. And remember when we were trying to bring Duran in, they were like, we want Painter. So then I guess Dombrowski finally got him to buy into Mick Abel, who sucks. So it's just, I'm kind of like I have mixed emotions about the deadline because this team is much better than they were and than they were when they ended the White Sox series. But it's also like I don't know if it's good enough to get us over the hump. I don't know. I don't believe that Harrison Bader is a true difference-making guy on the offensive side. Defensively, he's one of the best. But offensively, I just don't believe that he's one of the guys that can pull you over the hump. Duran, absolutely. He secures the back half for the bullpen, gives you good high leverage situation to get you out of jams. He's great. But I just don't understand how Dombrowski looked at the situation and said, yep, we're okay. We just need Bader. Bader's our outfield power bat. Like I promised you, we're going to bring in an outfield power bat. He's our outfield power bat. I just don't know how you look at that. It's not that I don't like Bader. It's just that I thought you could have done more with Bader and another player if you brought in. It doesn't have to be a Quan. But why couldn't you go out and get somebody? I mean, like go find somebody else. I probably would have been even happy with bringing in Cedric Mullins at that point. He's probably he's better than Marsh. He's way better than Kepler. So I just I hope Dombrowski made the right move and the right decisions. I just don't know. I don't trust it, but I'm here to see how it shakes up, though. I don't know.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I think that it's an exciting time to be a Phillies fan. We're going to see how it all shakes out, but it's also an exciting time to be an Eagles fan. Before we know it, like we said, guys, football season would be here. It would be back, and we got another 17 games. Yeah, 17 game slate in front of us. There's 18 weeks is what I'm thinking, and there's one bye. But we got a whole 17 game slate game. A lot to look forward to this season. Could the Eagles repeat? Are we going to be let down? I've been hearing that Jalen Hurts, been listening to a lot of WIP lately. A lot of WIP. And ESP was saying yesterday, Elliott Shore Park, shout out to him, was saying that he thinks that when a QB has a good training camp, they have a good year. When they have a bad training camp, they have a bad year. And some people don't really look into training camp and all that too much, and I get that. But last year, Jalen Hurts had a great training camp, and we all know the way that last year went. This year, he's not having the best training camp. I'll say this. Somebody brought it up too, right on the show. You don't know what he's working on and what he's testing out. You don't know what he's just feeling out. Kind of not taking it too serious, I think, right now. It's still early August. You still got plenty of time before meaningful football is played. So if there's one or two things that Jalen Hurts is working on this year, I'm okay with that. But I just want to see him be more confident in himself, because when he's confident in himself and he can play like himself is when I feel like that's the best version of Jalen Hurts. But football's back. I mean, I'm excited for it. KJ, how you feeling, man?
It feels good. It feels good. I mean, obviously, it's always sad to see summer go, but every time summer goes, I mean, then I'm like, you know what? It's Eagles season, it's bird season, and I cannot wait. So I'm pumped. I definitely do think there is a lot of that. I mean, some of that is reality with that fact, and then also there's also fantasy with that as well. With the whole thing about having a good camp and everything like that. I think with Jalen though, the guy's different, and I try and tell people this all the time. Like the guy is different. I've trusted in him day one. I was one of the guys that literally was not mad when they drafted him, and I'm dead serious. I was not mad because I was off the whole Carson Wentz train. I was like, you know what, the guy's too banged up. It sucks. I wanted him to be successful. I believed in him so much, but it's just the injury bug has hit him. And obviously, I said this before, in Philadelphia, the injury bug has gone rapid for years. It's been such a virus in all the locker rooms of all Philadelphia sports, and especially with the Eagles, it's happened. So, but with Jalen Hurts, I definitely believe in him. And I mean, he's been able to help us go to a Super Bowl and then win a Super Bowl, beat the same team, like lose to the same team, and then go back, get revenge on them, and kick the living crap out of them. And that was what I really took from Jalen Hurts. And it was awesome. It was very satisfying. I do think I did hear he got picked off a couple times by Eli Ricks and some other defensive backs. I think honestly the guy has a different mindset than any other quarterback. He's just like, even if he's doing bad, I think honestly he's able to not dwell on what just happened, which honestly makes a difference. Like it was totally a difference with Carson Wentz. I remember with Carson Wentz when he used to get picked off or he would fumble the ball, he would let that really just like sink in his mind and he would dwell on that. Jalen doesn't do that. Jalen moves on. He gets in that kind of Mamba mentality where he's like, or that Jordan mentality where he's like, all right, I made a mistake. All right, how the heck can I move the heck on? And he just moves on. So I'm not worried with Jalen. I really do think that this team, people keep on saying, oh, we're going to have what's it called? Not the Super Bowl funk, but like they're going to have, I can't freaking think. What am I
Madden
thinking?
Curse?
What's up? Oh, the
Madden
hangover.
Curse?
Hangover. Super Bowl hangover. They're going to have the hangover, but I honestly don't think that's going to happen. I think with Jalen having an okay camp, maybe a bad camp, I think you have the right coaches around him. I think it really depends on how Kevin Patullo can really help this offense and see if he can really help gel Jalen Hurts, because this is also his fourth, I think fourth, maybe fifth offensive coordinator. So it definitely is going to be a transition for him. And let's see how he bounces back. I think he'll be fine. And I definitely believe in Jalen Hurts. I always will believe in Jalen Hurts. He's our quarterback for the future. And it's always Hurts season.
Yeah, but I mean, like KJ said, it sucks to see summer go, but there's like when training camp rolls around and you get into August, right? You get like that certain feel, right? All the NFL meme accounts start posting again. All the NFL accounts. Oh, we have this many days until, and then you get the preseason games. So it makes you feel a certain way. And what I'm not going to do, and I'm still not the biggest Jalen Hurts fan, but what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to talk bad about a guy that no matter how bad he's played in training camp, I'm not going to come on here or my show or any show and talk about how bad Jalen Hurts is playing or talk any smack about him. The guy just won me a Super Bowl and just won Super Bowl MVP. Now, what I do want to see him work on, and to be honest, he actually got a lot better with these problems as the season went on. The first 4 weeks of the season was very bad, specifically with what I'm about to talk about with what he would do. If I'm Patullo, if I'm Sirianni, and I'm working with Jalen, I'm working on him being able to read a defense much better because he had a very tough time in the first 4 weeks, and he got much better as the season went on, but it still wasn't perfect. I'm taking the training camp to help him learn how to read a defense. 2, he holds on to the ball way too long, and that's a problem that he's had for his entire career as an Eagle. And again, throughout last year, he got better, and then there were some times where, it's like a mental block with him. He just kind of held on to it a little too long. Staying in the pocket, he would take sacks, and he just didn't really know when to throw the ball away. So those are some things that I want him to work on, but those are some minor things at the same time, and they're major, but they're also minor. You just have, because he got much better with them as the season went on last year. You just need to grow with him, help him grow, and be the best of his ability with those situations. So, yeah, Jalen Hurts is having a down training camp, I guess, but he still has essentially a full month to go of practice. I'm not taking it super seriously yet. That's just where it is. I'm just not going to take it super serious yet. I'm not going to be angry at him. But from what I'm hearing from Elliott Shore Parks, what I'm hearing from everybody, the defense is playing lights out. The offense has done a very good job as well. So that is so. No matter how Jalen's playing, no matter how anybody else is doing, that's just where it is. But yeah, I have a certain type of feel right now that Eagles football is right around the corner.
Yeah, it's right around the corner, and I'll let you take this one first, Broad. KJ had to dip, guys, just so you're aware. But there are rumors going around. Obviously, I don't think he's coming to Philadelphia, right? That would be crazy. But where do you think Micah Parsons will end up? Do you think he'll stay put in Dallas? What's your thoughts on the whole situation?
Look, I'm going to be completely honest with you. There's not for all the fans that are like, oh, Parsons is going to come to Philly. No, he's not. Jerry Jones would never, in his right mind, send him to Philly because, I mean, the Eagles in Dallas, I mean, it's just, but my thing is I don't know if Jerry Jones is going to trade him. That's the thing. I honestly am leaning towards the point that Jerry Jones may give him to be the highest paid edge ever. He may give him the biggest contract and an offer that Parsons can't refuse. So much money, the years, the extent, the money, the bone, everything. He's going to give him everything to be the highest paid edge out there. And I think that's honestly where I'm leaning. I don't see Jerry Jones trade him to Philly. I don't know where he would really trade him outside of that, just because I don't think it would be such a stupid idea to get rid of your best player. The guy who sells jerseys for you, sells out stadiums, gives you publicity around the NFL. I just don't see Jerry Jones moving on from him. I just think he gives him a contract and an offer that Parsons cannot refuse.
Yeah, man, I think it'll be coming soon. It's going to happen before people think. And it's wild that it's all kind of panned out like this. Shame on the Dallas Cowboys for not being able to take care of a good player. Because even though I don't like some of the things that Micah does, there's no denying when he is on, he's on. He's one of the best in the league at what he does. Yeah. So we'll see how this all pans out. You also got Terry McLaurin, who's now, saying that he wants out of Washington. It is NFC East turmoil and the Giants just suck. So it's just NFC East turmoil for everybody but the Eagles. But yeah, I don't see this happening at all either. To any Eagles fans that want it to happen, look, it could happen, but it's not going to happen this time around is what I'll say because of the team he's with. There's no way the Cowboys are going to send their best player who they want to sign, but they can't sign to their arch nemesis rival and give them another piece. If he was on another team, maybe. I just don't see it happening. If it did happen, oh my God.
We'd be unstoppable, but I just don't see anything like that happening. I mean, maybe Parsons wants to come to Philly, but that doesn't mean that Jones is going to be like, oh, yeah, here you go. We'll just take shit back and let you go win a Super Bowl. I think Jerry Jones is going to be an asshole to him now, but at the same time, not trade. I just don't believe he's going to trade him. He's flat out going to be like, hey, here's a contract you can't refuse. I know you're not going to refuse it. Just stay here, continue to give us publicity, continue to rack up our jersey sales. And, yeah, that's just where it's going to be.
I 100% agree, man. Yeah, we'll see how it all shakes out. Let us know in the comments how you guys think it's going to shake out. But that's all we got for you guys. A little bit lighter of a show. I know it's kind of the midst of baseball season. Football will be back very soon. I believe our first preseason game is actually this Thursday.
Yeah.
So next weekend, we will have some Eagles football for you guys to talk about.
I honestly can't wait, dude. And I'm a summer guy. I love summer. I'm going to hate to see summer go. I don't want to go back to school, the whole 9 yards. But it's at the point now where it's like, I can't wait for football season. I can't wait. And I love fall too. It's just there's a different type of feel in the air right now with Eagles fans. Nobody can wait for the Birds to come back and play meaningful football again. I don't know. And again, the Phillies turn these fans off. The fans just wake me up when it's October, wake me up when the Eagles start playing. And, yeah, everybody's ready. There's a different type of feel in the air when it comes to Eagles football. I think it's going to be a very good, very special year again. And I just can't wait. The fact that we're talking Eagles football, we're almost at meaningful Eagles football is so exciting to me.
Yeah, man. Me too. We're almost there. Get ready, guys. Let us know in the comments what you are most excited for this season. My name's Dalton Holland from 302 Birds and the 7 Sports Podcast. Had KJ McCoy here earlier. Please be sure to give him a follow too. And be sure to give our guy a follow at Broad Street Sports. He's crushing it over there. We love Ryan and what he's building, and we thank him for joining us on this show every Saturday morning moving forward. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up, boss?
I hope the Phillies are turning a page now, and I'm excited for Eagles season. Make sure you guys subscribe to me. Make sure you guys subscribe to 302 Birds. We got a great movement going right now, and we're just I don't know. I'm just in my head. I'm like a brain fog. I'm thinking about a Sunday morning, waking up, reading the tweets, seeing the Eagles game day post, and I'm like, we're ready to go. We're ready to go. Go Birds, baby.
Go
That's
Birds.
how I'm feeling.
You know it, man. We are right there. As you guys can see, Eagles fans are fired up. And yeah, that's all we got for you guys. So hope everybody has a great rest of their weekend. Be safe, have fun, and take care.
Listening to Sippin' Sports, a Phillies sports talk morning show with KJ and Dalt.